And now, around the world and around the corner, it's the David Bowers Awards, bringing the best in indie music to millions of listeners worldwide with your host, the David Bowers. We've got a fantastic lineup of guests, as well as our engineer extraordinaire, Nick the Geek, our entire crew here at the Asylum, and me. I'm John Bon Jovial. And now, here's the voice of indie music, the David Bowers.
Well, thank you very much. Once again, John Bon Jovial, the legendary John Bon Jovial as always, folks, and yours truly here to thank you for joining us once again for another hour of music, mirth, and merriment, madness, and whatever else we can cram into the next 59 and a half minutes. And one of the things we do is we cram in quite a bit of good new indie music, and right now we're going to give you a special treat because our first song of the week is actually it's a surprise. It's not even supposed to be played yet, but we're going to give you a sneak preview. Previous award winners here on the show, they call themselves the Pond Hawks from Chicago, one of the number one bands in the city of Chicago, in the area there, and they have kind of let us be the first in the world to preview their next release, which comes out July 26th. You'll be able to get it July 26th, but we're going to give it to you right now. Here are the Pond Hawks and Afraid of Love.
A lonely blue, the deepest hue you'll ever feel, the color you've been told about love. Jealousy you can't conceal, the emptiness you hold without love. Your mind is mystifying, crying for the heart you're dreaming of. Confined and underlying, flying far apart, afraid of love. Such angry red inside your head, you never smile. Emotionless instead without love. Metallic gray, the price you pay for self-exile. In shadow every day without love. The years are mystifying, crying for the heart you're dreaming of. Afraid of love.
There you go. That's called Afraid of Love. It's the new release from Chicago's The Pond Hawks, and it'll be available on in your local area and all over the world for that matter, July 26th, which is, it's about 1 week from when the show originally airs, and you'll be able to pick it up all over the place, online, the usual places. Be sure and check it out. And again, like all of our guests, be sure and go to their sites and on Twitter, Facebook, and all those places, and see the Pond Hawks. Check them out. Check their news, and be sure and tell them that you follow them, like your music, and they'd love to hear from you. The Pond Hawks, and we'll be having them back later this year on the David Bowers Awards. This is the show that makes every show an award show. So every one of our guests is an automatic award winner. And we want to thank one of our original award winners, the band Titty Bingo, who provide our house music for us, the David Bowers Awards theme music. And we thank them so much for that. A good old rock band out of the great state of Texas. You can check them out online at tittybingo.com. And remember, it's always time to play Titty Bingo. And if you have somebody that you think deserves an award for some wonderful music-related thing or some dumb music-related thing, whatever, we have an award just for them. And all you have to do is drop us a line to david@thedavidbowers.com. Tell us who you think deserves an award and why, and perhaps we'll use it. And, of course, give you creds for it. We're not going to take the blame for your award, but yeah, we may use it right here on the David Bowers Awards, and we have an award coming up in just a moment. But first, I want to touch base on one thing. We got sometimes we'll check our we always check our email, but sometimes we'll mention it online, and I'm going to do that in just a moment. But first, let's say hello to the legendary John Bon Jovial.
Hello.
Hello. How are you doing?
David, doing fine. You know, it's summertime is in full swing here in the swamp. The alligators are gating, and the mosquitoes are mosking, and it's just hotter. And well, I guess for the sake of WRFC's license from the FCC. I won't say what it's really like here, but that's kind of the way it is right now here in
it's not hotter
Florida.
Than Phoenix, I'll give you that. You've got the humidity, but it's not hotter than Phoenix.
No, it may not be hotter than Phoenix, but Phoenix doesn't get 93% humidity either, so we do.
Not very often we don't. Not very often we don't. Well, great. It's good to have you back on with us again this week, and hope you're all set for some good old rock and roll.
I am. I always look forward to doing this show every week, and I know some, co-hosts / sidekicks, whatever, will say that. It's like, yeah, just give me my paycheck and I'm out of here. But no, I really do. I look forward to this every week. It's a lot of fun to talk with the people that call in. I know that we've got a couple of really excellent guests today, and I'm very much looking forward to backing them into a corner and saying, well, yeah, what about this? And we'll see how that goes from there.
Well, we're glad to have you here, too. John and I, as listeners who've been around with us for a while, know we go way back. We've been working together since, back in the last century, actually, back in the 1970s.
We've been working together since 1973, you and I.
Yep.
That's a long time. Yes, it is.
It's been a while, bro. Let me tell you, it's been a while. And one of the reasons I wanted to be sure and mention that we have a letter I wanted to talk about. We got a piece of email, and you get mentioned in it. Bill up in New Hampshire writes, thanks for presenting all the new artists. We really love it. But one question, do you and John Bon Jovial always agree on everything?
Bill, that would be a hell no.
Bill, if you could hear us off the air, off of the show, and we get to arguing about things, not the least of which would be the Yankees versus the Celtics, but there are a lot of things we don't... Oh, did I say Celtics?
Yeah,
whatever that
did,
Boston baseball team is. Yeah. But if you could hear us, no, we do not always agree on everything. and we've had some good, shall we say, discussions, and somehow we've always managed to get past our disagreements. And well, hey, that's the way it goes. We've been working together for too long. I guess we always seem to manage to get past whatever we don't agree on.
We know each other too well. We know what we're going to agree on. We know what we're not going to agree on. David is, politically, David leans more toward the conservative side of politics. I lean more towards the liberal side of politics. But surprisingly, when it comes to that kind of stuff, there are quite a few things that we agree on.
There are, and it makes me hearken back to when I was growing up in the 50s. The basic rule was you kept your politics to yourself, and your friendships were separate from your politics. You could talk politics, you could discuss various viewpoints, but the bottom line is everybody was working together for the same outcome.
That's
and
right.
Now I think we've drifted away from that. Everybody wears their politics on their sleeve like a badge, and they have to have it their way. And the feeling of unity and working together just doesn't seem to exist like that anymore. I guess we're kind of old school in that respect.
Yeah, I think we are. I mean, look, there's nothing wrong with disagreeing with something as long as at the end of the day we can both go our separate ways and know that the friendship is still strong. You may agree with one thing that I disagree with and vice versa, and it's just one of those things that you're right. It's old school. If you're going to talk, I have no problem talking politics. I have no problem talking religion, which are the so-called taboos. But at the end of the day, if you can have a discussion with somebody that is of some higher intellect that can actually understand and absorb what your opinions are and take from them what will work and what will not work for them, and if you can do the same thing with the person that you're talking to, then why not have that discussion? You're right. It's when people start, saying, well, I'm more American than you are, and, you're a traitor for thinking what you think. I'm sorry, that's unacceptable.
Exactly. Now, the bottom line is it comes down to no matter what we agree or disagree on, we are all here for the same purpose, and we're looking for mutually the same result. We just don't always fully agree on how to get there, but we are in agreement on the fact that that's where we want to go, and that's what trumps everything else. Pardon the expression. That goes back a ways too. But hey, moving right along here now. Thank you very much, Bill. And listeners, we do love to get your email. If we get an interesting one, yeah, sure, we'll use it right here on the air and have a talk about it. Want to say hello to Mary Perry, accredited disability representative in Rochester, New York, who underwrites the David Bowers Awards on our flagship station, WRFZ, FM 106.3, Rochester Free Radio. Hello, and a shout-out to all of our friends up there at WRFZ FM and also around the great city of Rochester, New York. And our first TDBA, our first The David Bowers Award is coming up right now. So, John, if you'll tune up the comb combo, we'll get right to our first The David Bowers Award of the week. You guys are you're just too good. Our first The David Bowers Award of the week goes to previous guests of ours, actually. They were on our show back in November 16th, if I remember correctly. They call themselves Smith Sisters Bluegrass. And on our show, among a couple of songs they did, one was a thing called Elvis on the Jukebox. It's an interesting story. If you haven't heard it, give a listen. This is not your granddaddy's bluegrass, but it is grass, and it is